Yeah, our next game is number 8, Washington versus Michigan State at Michigan State at 5 p.m. I'm going to be completely honest with you guys. I didn't think this was going to be a close matchup before I did my research. Washington, they blew out Michigan State last year. It was 39-28. I can look in the notes. But real quick, I want to put in some notes real quick. First of all, Mel Tucker is out as head coach due to some, harassment allegations, which is good. When things are going on in your program like that, you don't want any kind of bit of that.
And of course, we hope the allegations are false. But if the allegations are not false, we are glad that Michigan State is taking the proper precautions and taking this seriously.
Yeah, and with, Mel Tucker being out as head coach, you have the former Florida State defensive coordinator, Harlan Barnett, as the interim head coach for Michigan State, at least for the remainder of this season or as we see fit. But for some notes real quick, Michigan State hasn't really faced that great of opponents, and, now looking at it, Washington hasn't either. We know about Michael Penix Jr., but who is on Michigan State? So we have this guy named Noah Kim at quarterback, whose quarterback rating is only 59.4. That's 64th in the league. That's awful. Just saying. But there are two guys, and a whole squad, honestly, that could change the outlook of this game. So you got Nathan Carter at running back for Michigan State. He is absolutely phenomenal. He's already over 200 yards for this season within just 2 games, 6.1 yards per carry. That's, if you don't know, that's good. That's really good. And then, of course, you have the phenomenal catch against Central Michigan. You have Jerron Glover. You got Antonio Gates Jr., all these young wideouts at Michigan State. Also, Michigan State's defense is actually better than Washington's defense. Washington's defense only has 3 sacks within these past 2 games. So, meanwhile, Michigan State has 10. And I know, it's like, whatever. The FPI is Washington at 66%. The spread, Washington at minus 16. Isaac, I'm going to let you go ahead and take this pick. I hope my information was a little helpful for you.
Well, it was, Joey, because I was looking at this game and I was like, yeah, Washington for sure. So Michigan State, I think there's a lot going on with that program. Obviously, we talked about with Coach Tucker and all the allegations and whatnot. It's in East Lansing. They do have a running back who could make a big difference. Washington is not really a defensive team, not unlike the rest of the Pac-12. With that in mind, FPI is Washington at 66%. The spread, Vegas has Washington by 16. I like the Huskies in this one. I think they'll cover just barely. I like the Huskies by 17. They're going to go into East Lansing and get the win. And I think that is strictly because of the turnover. There's a lot of things going on with Michigan State. I could be completely wrong. Michigan State could turn around and say, hey, we're going to play for the pride of the program with all this going on. But I just don't see it. Michael Penix Jr. looks really good. Washington, I like the Huskies.
I think that's fair. I think that, a lot of teams that have, these big controversies tend to struggle. I mean, one team that, everybody knows about is Penn State. They had a pretty big downfall for a second there. Now we're with Washington, Michigan State here. Will they pull through and fight for the win, or will they crumble? I think that this is going to be a close game. Closer than what people want and closer what they expect. I still got Washington in this game. I only got it by a field goal, though. There's one guy on the defense at Michigan State that I really want y'all to listen out for. It's Cal Halliday, linebacker. He's leading the team in interceptions and sacks. So just keep an eye out for him. He could change the game and make Michigan State actually win this game, but I got Washington.
Yeah, after all that information you gave, that makes it really hard to pick now. Obviously, Washington is pretty on fire. They obviously coming off 2 wins, one against Boise State and then one against Tulsa last week, who's known to be a pretty big opponent in the group of 5. But the Michigan State right now is still trying to find their identity, especially after losing, some of the biggest players they've had in the last couple of years to the NFL. And the Mel Tucker situation definitely does not help. Could this sudden drama suddenly hurt the players? Like, how do they keep their minds right leading up to this game, right? Like, you're like 1 minute you have a head coach, the next minute your head coach is out because of some allegations. It's like, how do you keep your mind right? How do you take that out? How do you focus? How do you deal within 1 week of playing one game and then the next, like, having to do with a whole new interim coach and a whole situation with that, right? I mean, because of that, does Washington come in like taking care of business by even more this time? No. Michigan State is going to win this game. They're going to pull it together, and I think that they're going to be the ones to win this by 3. I really am not confident in that pick, but I think with everything going on, I mean, Washington did struggle a little bit with Boise State in week 1. Don't get me wrong, Boise State is a tough opponent. I mean, look at the UCF game, which, by the way, I was right about that game. UCF only won by 2. It was closer than we thought, and they did win.
I was also right about the Oregon game, but that's besides the point.
He was.
I definitely think
my game was closer, though.
It was. I definitely think that with, this defensive-minded interim head coach running the helm, and, they're already, strong defense as of right now, I think those can combine to be very useful and very helpful. Or it can, turn out to be very bad, because they're changing to a whole different system. So we'll just have to see.
But either way, that is my pick.